So talk to us a little bit about what is actually happening. Again, when somebody starts to become metabolically healthy, it starts with mitochondria, it starts with all of these metabolic processes. They start to get into sync.
Mhm.
They start to become harmonized. They start to work the way that they were designed to work.
Right.
Now, when somebody is experiencing metabolic dysfunction of any degree, what's actually happened inside of their system?
Yeah. This is so important. And, as I talk about this, most physicians really aren't even that familiar with what
Mm.
we're still measuring glucose. We know that we're a very glucose-centered medical community. We look at your fasting blood sugar, right? We have you overnight, not eat, morning, don't eat breakfast, come in and we check your blood sugar. Now, if your blood sugar is normal under, 100, then we just kind of check, oh, you're good. But the reality is you're not good. In fact, like you mentioned, 90% plus have metabolic dysfunction, defined by first, usually the earliest, is a rise in your insulin.
Mm.
And it's insidious. It's like blood pressure. You don't know what's happening. And your insulin level starts going up maybe 5-10 years before you have any symptoms, before your glucose even starts to rise. Your glucose rises because now your body can't compensate. It has amazing mechanisms and it's clicking out. The beta cells are releasing insulin and that insulin is going up and up and up. And like you said, the mitochondria, even though you don't realize it, you might start feeling just a little blah. And so you go to your doctor for your B12 shot or you take a Red Bull or, it's amazing what we do to mask the symptoms.
So many different forms of Band-Aids treating the signs and symptoms of
Over-the-counter
metabolic
drugs.
dysfunction.
Over-the-counter drugs. Yeah.
Signs and symptoms of metabolic dysfunction. But what we do goes to the source of it.
Yes.
Now, one thing that you can notice immediately when you're here in this part of Spain, in Galicia, you can just do a little bit of an eye exam and say, okay, body composition wise, the people are healthier.
Mm-hmm.
How important is that for us to be thinking about as we're reversing metabolic dysfunction?
Yeah.
What's actually happening when somebody starts to lose a little bit of weight?
Yeah.
There's a big difference between a healthy, safe weight loss,
Right.
when that weight is coming off, when they're losing the fat, as contrasted with when you're losing weight and maybe you're losing more lean mass or
Right.
specifically lean muscle in the process.
Yeah.
I think this is important for us to understand.
And, I think it's important to distinguish that because there's two types of adiposity, two main types. And one is called visceral, which means it's surrounding the organs. The other is subcutaneous. So if you think about your belly or your rear, the stuff outside that you can pinch, that's relatively healthy. In fact, fat is very important. It's an endocrine organ. It's important for storage. It's important for all kinds of functions within the body. But what ends up happening, especially in the United States where we have excessive calories, we have to store it somewhere. It's not like a car. If you fill your car full of gas and it gets to the end, it'll spill over. In fact, they have to put that little control on it because it'll get all over you. Your body will continue to take the energy and has to store it.
Yeah.
And if your insulin level is high because of the ultra unhealthy processed food we eat, it's stimulating your insulin. And when your insulin gets stimulated, it says store. And it says don't burn, store. So the fat cells cannot burn. They cannot create lipolysis, which is the act of taking the fat, which is normally a great depot. And so it just continues to grow. And it goes inside your liver. And it goes even in your muscle. And it goes specifically in your fat cells. And as your fat cells, most of our fat cells, they're pretty set. Hyperplasia means we get more fat cells, and that can happen under some circumstance. But mostly we have the fat cells, and they keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And they have very poor blood supply to begin because they're not designed for that. And as they get bigger, now the blood supply gets compromised. And as soon as that happens, inflammation, leukotrienes, thromboxanes, all these nasty chemicals are released, and they cause a 5-alarm fire throughout our body. And that's when the rapid change in your blood sugar goes up. You're pre-diabetic, you're diabetic, you start getting cardiovascular disease, you get fog in your brain, and it actually leads to cognitive decline, Alzheimer's, and all these cognitive dysfunction. It can help accentuate cancers. It does all these things that are so dysfunctional. And unfortunately, that's what I did for so many years. I took care of people that were at that stage, not realizing that time I could help them in some ways get stop. It was almost like you'd stop the progression of the fire, but you certainly didn't put it out.